what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at one of my undisclosed secret locations because guess what? We have it. This is the all-new 2020 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. This one is the top trim, the limited trim. But before we dive into this new fuel-saving Sonata, let's talk a little bit about Hyundai history. It's basically been around in the United States selling cars the mid-1980s. It was the Hyundai Excel was the first vehicle that they sold here in our country. The Sonata hit the streets in the United States in 1989. Since 1989, there's been a lot of big changes, and really Hyundai is the Rocky story of the auto industry. So many great vehicles now in their lineup, from their full size, that three-row 7-passenger Palisade. You have the favorites like the Sonata, the Santa Fe, the Elantra, and then of course that new performance direction through the N branding with the Veloster N. One thing is for certain, this all-new Sonata Hybrid is ready to go up against the big giants and really bring not only that fuel-saving capability, but also technology and style when we compare it to cars like the Camry Hybrid and the Accord Hybrid. So let's go ahead, dive into the all-new 2020 Sonata Hybrid, see what's different, see what makes it unique, and see why it is the hybrid you should be parking in your garage. Right off the bat, I love for 2020 the design philosophy that they have gone with the Sonata. Some very, very special elements, starting off at the front end of the business with the headlight design. So you're gonna have full LED headlights. Love the way everything is blacked out. Now, one thing that Hyundai wanted to do is they wanted to do something so different that really made the car stand out. And what they did was they created what they call a hidden lighting lamp. That's what they call it. So they took the daytime running lamp, which starts in this corner that's obviously flashing because we have the hazards on, and then it actually integrates into this trim that lights up at night, and it actually illuminates all the way almost up to this top portion here. That is going to give it such unique styling that from a mile away you could tell exactly what this car is just from that daytime running lamp. It's stuff like that that Hyundai does that really just surprises everybody and creates an imagination. Who would have ever thought to take lighting that then blends perfectly into the trim? We work our way down. You do have side functional air curtains. This car has a very low drag coefficient number. It's a 0.24. There's some sports cars that don't even have a drag coefficient that low. They really molded it nicely to cheat the air to get that maximum MPG. I like the way they took the chrome trim, starts on the air curtain, and then it all flows into the main grille area. And what's kind of ironic, for me at least, is I actually like the design of the hybrid more than just the standard Sonata. Like the way they have this brushed aluminum, nice horizontal brushed aluminum lines. You got your Hyundai logo, forward-facing camera, some more of that trim, the way the trim wraps around. And then when you drop down, guess what? They could have left this flat black. They took that brushed aluminum look and even brought it into the lower area. Love the way the front fascia kind of curves down into this little lip spoiler, all about directing airflow through and around this vehicle. Really, really nice. Even the way the hood, a lot of vehicles are now taking the front fascia and bringing it up top. The way the hood kind of comes all the way down really gives it a clean look. Now, when we get up onto the hood, love the way the body lines here. Look at that solid rise all the way back towards the windscreen. You have your daytime running lamp that goes all the way into the trim. And as we come around, what are we talking about? Wheel and tire setup. Now, this is your wheel and tire setup on the Limited. Very tasteful wheel. You have your machined aluminum, this dark gunmetal gray, all meant to help air go down the side. And this is an actual real wheel. A lot of times they use a steel wheel and then have plastic inserts. This whole thing is all aluminum. Wonderful design. It's wrapped in those Michelin Primacy tires. You're looking at, this is a 17-inch wheel, 215 on the width, nice meaty 55 series sidewall, gonna give you a nice ride down the road. But even the little touches, look at how they do the side marker light. Give it a nice triangular look, some flow to it rather than a rectangle or some kind of square. You have a strong prominent line around the fender, and then there's that trim going from the hidden lighting lamp all the way down into the rear quarter window. Color matched mirror caps. We have our turn signals nice and slim and trim, and then here's the biggest surprise. You're not gonna find this on your Camry, you're not gonna find this on your Accord. You actually have a full solar paneled roof. Now, the way that this solar panel roof works is, think about a trickle charger that you put on maybe your classic car that you only drive once a month or once a year. You want to keep the battery strong. That's what this does, is that with full sunlight each day, you actually can add 2 miles of range to this Sonata just from the solar panel roof. It's touches like those that's really separating Hyundai from the rest of the crowd. Down below, look at the nice side sill, kind of extends all the way out. Even the body lines, I mean, they put so much thought and creativity into shaping this vehicle that there was once upon a time where a hybrid, it looked like some type of weird science experiment. This thing wrapped in black looks so luxurious, yet has that technology, solar powered roof, and gonna give you great MPGs. We keep working our way back. You have some chrome on the tops of the door handles. Like I was saying, that treatment comes all the way into the rear quarter window. Nice touch. I'm glad they didn't bring it any further back. Love the nice hard line coming into that rear fender. Even the lower section, the way this bottom area of the rear fender kind of drops down nicely to blend in with the side sill. And then check out the top of this trunk. You actually have vortex generators to help, you know, with that air coming off the back window onto the trunk. Nice trunk lid spoiler, kind of has a tilt up angle. And then as we wrap around the back, very interesting look. You can see we have the LED taillight design. I like the way it kind of blends in a little bit into the trunk. You have this larger section that goes across the middle, the Sonata badge, very strong, very prominent, the Hyundai badge. And then as we work our way down, we brought some of that chrome trim from the front, brought it to the back, and I'm so glad for a hybrid that it's just a clean look. I think my one zonk back here is the badging, the actual hybrid badging. I wish they used a little bit different font, maybe a different badge, just not really working with the beautiful, sexy lines that you're seeing everywhere else. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see exactly what is powering this hybrid Sonata. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have 2 hydraulic hood struts. Underneath that hood is that hybrid magic. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, what is actually powering this? You're looking at a naturally aspirated 2-liter inline-4 engine combined with 1 electric motor. It produces 192 horsepower, 210 pound-feet of torque, all combined. It's mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Of course, the Sonata is front-wheel drive and does contain a lithium-ion battery pack. 0 to 60, 7.8 seconds. Top speed, 120 miles an hour. The Sonata, she weighs around 3,600 pounds. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's that most important thing? What kind of MPGs are we looking at? We're looking at 45 in the city, 51 on the highway. It's nice to see that they didn't go with a CVT like a lot of other brands. I think that's gonna help separate them. And on top of that, those solar power panels are gonna help trickle charge that lithium ion battery. But why don't we go ahead, talked about the outside, talked about underneath the hood. I'm ready to check out the interior of this 2020 Sonata Hybrid. All right, guys, we're inside the 2020 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid Limited Trim. I know you're saying to yourself, Joe, when I first saw this car, when you reviewed it at the New York Auto Show last year, my heart pitter-pattered. I know my wallet's gonna be happy with the amount of fuel that I save, and there's some really cool tech up on that roof with the solar panels. How much is this? MSRP on this fully loaded limited trim, you're looking at $36,430. Let's see what you get for the money. Now, to the door panels, soft touch material. They really brought their A game on the door panel. Even the silver trim, look at how it integrates nicely into the door handle. This has the optional Bose sound system and also the wonderful armrest, nice stitch work. I think my only zonk is the door pocket's a little small. You might be able to get a couple Taco Bell tacos in there and a bottle of Mr. Pibb or Coca-Cola, but looks really sexy. As you come to the dash, soft touch material, love the stitch work. There's that silver, even the way they kind of sync the AC vents. It's not very obtrusive or obnoxious, nice and clean. What really stands out though is over 12-inch infotainment system screen. So now you can say that you have 12 inches in your Hyundai Sonata, super clear. As you can see, navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I'm gonna hit media here. What's really wild is that you actually have gentle sounds that could calm you. Say you had a hard day at work and you need some calming on your drive home. Look at this, you can listen to a rainy day. Maybe a lively forest. I'm gonna go with the rainy day. I think what would be fun is do the rainy day one and then make out with somebody in the Hyundai Sonata. That sounds like an experience. But we go back to home, you have your 3 screen settings. I could hit this button right here, and what that's gonna show is our usage and energy flow. We're averaging 40 miles to the gallon, driving around the Rady's Rides neck of the woods. But it's really cool to have this kind of technology. The way they integrate it into the dash is wonderful. Let me throw it into reverse. Here's our backup camera, fairly clear. Let me shut off the rainy day. It's making me want to go to the bathroom. But you have your trajectory, which is really nice. We do have our 360 cam, but the doors are open, so that's going to throw that off. But you could obviously toggle through different views, which is wonderful. There's the back of our Sonata. There's the trajectory. So I do like those features. That's really, really nice setup. As we drop down, those nice AC vents, you get a bright silver start stop button, heated steering wheel, dual climate, easy to use, easy to understand. Also, guess what? Ventilated seats. And I like the way it's all one switch. So you go down to cool or you go up to heat. I'm going down. I want to cool. Okay, so you got your dual climate, drop down, wireless charging, 2 USBs and a 12 volt. So they got you covered connectivity wise, which is wonderful. And I like this nice open space. Normally I like lids, but this really works for me. A little bit of gloss black. There's our push button transmission. Remember, it's a 6-speed automatic transmission. Love the finish. Instead of using flat black, they actually use this nice texture material. Here is our key fob, Hyundai key fob. I spin it around. The one thing I am gonna zonk is there's no smart park feature. So that's the feature where you could actually move the vehicle in and out of spots with the key fob. You can't do that with this one. We have our camera view button, different drive modes, which is nice. And I'll talk more about that when you get to the business side of things. And then armrest, it's on the harder side, but the material is great. The stitch work is awesome. Pick it up, look at this. You could easily put about 14 Twinkies in there and you're not squirting cream anywhere. So cream is gonna be saved. You're not getting it all over the interior. Seats are nice, super clean. Stitching is wonderful, perforated on the center. Of course, you're gonna have full power assist for the passenger and the driver. I guess the only challenge is if you want a sunroof, not gonna happen in a Sonata Hybrid because you have solar panels. Either you have solar panels or you have sunroof. It's up to you. But you're not gonna be able to get a hybrid. You'll have to go regular internal combustion engine. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I wanna show you behind the wheel of the Sonata Hybrid. All right, guys, business time, behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings, which is wonderful in your Sonata Hybrid. And then overall, the touches. You have the nice aluminum trim down here. It says Sonata. That's my finger, by the way. I'm not like passing gas or something. You also have your electric seat controls. I got plenty of headroom in here. 6 feet tall, guess what? The solar panels are not cramping my style. Steering wheel, it's a mixed bag. I like the thickness, I like the stitch work. I'm not a big fan of this little bridge section here. If this wasn't here, I'd actually like it a lot more, but I do think it's so smart to go flat black with the buttons. And then the dash, you're looking at 10.3 inches of TFT, beautiful display. You could toggle through all sorts of information in there, which is really wonderful. Look at that, look at it as I toggle. Tire pressure, you got your different modes. Look at that energy flow. Even the drive mode. So I pointed this out earlier. Look at this, boom. I just went into sport mode. You could switch down into eco, smart, and then when you thought everything was done, check this out. You actually have turn signals built in. Look at the nice camera views when you use your turn signals. So that's an extra nice touch that you're only gonna get on the Sonata Hybrid. Honda doesn't have it with the Accord. Toyota doesn't have it with the Camry. That's great technology. But why don't we go ahead, let's check out the back seat and see how happy your passengers are gonna be, because you're not gonna be stopping for fuel as much. Let's make sure that they're happy campers in that back seat. All right, guys, back seat time. And here's the wonderful news. Even with the lithium ion battery pack, you're still getting plenty of legroom and headroom. Now, is it as much as an Accord or a Camry? No, but listen, there's some things that this car has that the other two don't. One thing that this doesn't have is it's a little bit tighter in the back seat area, but still the leather is soft, still got plenty of headroom. And really, I haven't even moved the seats forward, so I don't think you're gonna be really complaining about not having enough legroom back here. You do have the plastic backs, which I know if you're a parent, this is a big plus because it's easy to clean after your kids pick their nose all over it. You do have rear AC vents, which are nice, and a USB. Just one cargo net. I'm not a big fan of the nets, and there's just one over here, so everything's gonna have to go in here. And to be honest with you, you're probably just gonna be able to put a file nail, a Slim Jim, or a Twizzler. Those are your three choices because it's kind of tight with the net. Armrest though, look at that, nice height. It's a little hard, but you do have two cup holders, which are great. Flip it out of the way. Why don't we go ahead, let's get to the trunk and see how much space there is in the Sonata Hybrid. All right guys, time to check out the trunk. What I love about the Sonata is, guess what? If you're looking for a trunk button, it's real simple. It's actually integrated right there into the emblem. Check out the room that we have. So nice large opening. You do have two handles to fold down the rear seats. You're looking at 16 cubic feet of space. And I think, like I said, the amount of height you have in here is wonderful. Having these handles to fold down the seats is great, but why don't we go ahead, let's get to the best part of any Radies Rise review. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this Sonata Hybrid for a spin. All right, guys, we're leaving our undisclosed location. We're in the 2020 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid Limited trim. Right away, what I love about this car, as you can hear the emergency braking, because that Audi kind of stopped a little bit over on the side of the road there. That's how good the sensing technology is in all the driver safety, is that it actually started to alert me. It gave me a heads up, flashing a heads up display symbol, and that chime to let me know that, hey, there's a vehicle that could be right in my way and it's going to get ready to emergency brake. So that's one thing that's very impressive with the new Hyundai Sonata, is that safety tech that's part of the program. Now, driving down the road, very smooth. What Hyundai has done with all the interior pieces and fitment and treatments and everything else, spot on, really elevates the whole segment, to be honest with you. This midsize segment is changing so much in the industry, and with the new Sonata having all this great technology, having the over 12-inch horizontal infotainment system, your navigation, your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto, and then on top of that you have another 10-inch display in front of you, giving you all the readouts that you could ever imagine. What's really cool is just to see the energy flow. We got the solar panels doing their thing. Obviously, it's not a full sunny day, so we're not able to take full advantage of them, but it's just features like those that you're not going to find on an Accord. You're not going to find that on Camry. Having the 6-speed, really smooth shifting, like it a lot better than a CVT. I'm going to go ahead and get on throttle, drops down, and we are off and running. And I'm telling you, this car feels a lot quicker than what horsepower numbers are telling us. That's for certain. And it's very smooth. Seats are comfortable, like the way they have nice lumbar control. And here we are driving in the rain, and I'm telling you, the interior quietness is superb in this car. You know, driving down this highway in the traffic, visibility is excellent. Out that back window, super clear. Even with the way the glass slants back very sharply to give us that nice aerodynamic flow off the roof of the vehicle, you're still getting great visibility. Side mirrors are wonderful. Out the front, the A-pillars are pulled very far apart. I like the thickness of the steering wheel. Very nice to get it set perfectly for you. It's just not the sexiest of steering wheels, so that's just one thing. You know, if you're looking for a sexy steering wheel, the Sonata really isn't doing it, at least for me. The gloss black isn't too bad. I don't know if you heard that chime. It's kind of nice. It alerts you of when the car in front of you, if you're sitting at a light, starts to move, just to give you a little chime. I do have it in sport mode, which there was once upon a time where I would laugh and giggle that a hybrid vehicle had a sport mode. I thought maybe it kind of defeated the purpose, but I get it now, because guess what? You're getting extra driving performance operating this vehicle, having that electric assist. And when you put it into sport mode, everything changes. The parameters of the transmission shifting. I like the weight in the steering, the throttle response, and the dash is just super clear and clean and easy to read. Even though it's giving me information like power, eco mode, charge, and all this other stuff, it's very well laid out. And I really, really am digging that. On top of it, I showcased earlier those nice environmental sounds that after your hard day at work, when your boss has been riding your back and yelling in your ear, you can listen to some raindrops. Obviously right now it's raining, so I don't want to listen to any more raindrops, but you can have those raindrops. You can have a nice little street side cafe. And like I mentioned earlier, you know, if you have that somebody special, you could just make out in the back seat to those sounds. So just something to think about when you're going Sonata Hybrid. But super smooth, easy to drive in traffic, and I'm very, very pleasantly pleased with what they've done with the interior. That's probably one of my favorite things about this. Another thing you're gonna have to remember is with this car being so new, driving on the road, people look. It really stands out from the rest of the crowd, especially with those hidden lighting lamps. Those daytime running lamps that run into the trim, something so different. Not a car around us looks like our setup on the Sonata Hybrid. Guys, as we're rolling down the highway, let's do an on throttle here. So on throttle, drops back down, and we're off and running, and you build steam up very quickly. That's what I like about this car. Merging is easy. Getting onto a highway off, you know, on an on-ramp is easy. When you're using the windshield wipers, it's just little touches, like you turn on the windshield wiper and it lights up on the dash and tells you what speed you're at. So right now I'm in low. Instead of trying to look at the windshield wiper stock and trying to figure out, you know, you're getting out an abacus trying to solve a math problem on what speed you are with your windshield wipers. Just little touches like that, that when you look at the big picture, you're like, wow, it really makes this driving experience that amazing. You got single switches for heated seats, ventilated seats. They're easy to get to. Everything is very easy to get to in this car. And even though it is lacking some of the rear seat interior room compared to, say, the Accord, I don't think your passengers are going to be that miserable back there, to be honest with you. It's actually quite nice, and the leather seats are very, very comfortable and supportive no matter what seat you're sitting in. But hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel and view of what the Sonata Hybrid, remember this one's a limited trim, so fully loaded, what it's all about. We're going to try to fight through this traffic and get back to our undisclosed location. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another fun day with this Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. I definitely got to thank Lori and the rest of the crew over at Hyundai USA for allowing Rady's Rides access to this all new car, not only the Sonata, but this being the Hybrid. I think from a styling standpoint, they really knocked the ball out of the park with styling that just separates it from the rest of the crowd. That technology piece, the solar roof, the interior, the fine touches, that's really where I truly believe it has a leg up on the competition. And if you are looking for a mid-size hybrid sedan, you'd have to be crazy to not take one of these for a spin. But if it's cars like these that you like to see on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to Victor, manning that camera like a champ, getting all the angles. He's been loving the design features. There's lots of nice qualities. Check him out on Instagram at Victor Scott Wang. His photography will blow your mind and make you cry. That's how good it is. So thank you, Victor, for all your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.